I'm Batsheva Khazanov.
And I'm Leah Levin.
And we are your hosts of the Power Hour podcast. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Power Hour. We're at episode 3, and I'm so excited to be here today, but it's not just me and Leah. We got another special girl with us here.
Hello, everyone.
We got our awesome friend here. Before we dig into the good stuff, I want to start, of course, with our first essential thing. We have our tzedakah. So we're all going to give tzedakah. Have in mind the Yidden Eretz Yisrael and anyone that needs help or refuah shlema. And let's dig in.
So Chaya actually joined our school. Little introduction about Chaya. So Chaya joined our school about a month ago, I would say. And she came all the way from Honduras, which is a country in South America. And Chaya has a crazy story. And you know what I love about her coming? Is that our whole podcast is by teens, for teens. And what we meant by that is not only that me and Batsheva, we're teens, but also that the most inspiring people can be teenagers. So that's what that's what I find so cool about that we were able to find a girl who's literally like a teen who has the most inspiring story ever. And it's actually funny that when I was even thinking about doing the podcast, when I was even talking about the podcast with someone else, I was like, I want to do this podcast and I want to do for teens and I need to find good guests. And like a week after that, you showed up to school and I was like, oh my gosh, my eyes were on you. I was like, she is going to be on my podcast.
Well, I feel so honored to be here. To be honest, for me that I lived all of this, for me something normal. But I hope people can learn something from this. So that's why I would like to share it with you.
I think that there's so much to learn from your story. And it's like when you ate by me, I got bits and pieces of like what went on, like what happened. And just that was like, oh my gosh, like this is crazy. So we are so excited to have you here and hear your story. And we have some questions for you, but we want to also just hear just straight from you. So let's get started. First of all, do you want to introduce yourself? Tell us where you're from, even though I already told a little sneak peek. Tell everyone where you're from. Tell everyone how you grew up. If you have any siblings, just tell us how, what your lifestyle was growing up.
So I was born in a with a little bit of Judaism. I grew up with a family that practice a few things. So they come from Bnei Anusim. My parents come from Bnei Anusim. They are not Jewish. So you may ask. So
what is Bnei Anusim?
Bnei Anusim is from Spain and the Hispanic Inquisition. They were forced to convert to Christianism, even though they will still be Jewish. And some of them escaped from Spain and they went through Latin America. And that was the case of my family. They went to Guatemala and Honduras. And most of my family went to Honduras. So they practiced a few things. But the problem was that you will not have rabbis or you will not have a community. So they started to assimilate and have intermarriage with non-Jews. So that's why I didn't know if I was Jewish or not, because the Judaism passed through the mom. So even if they will marry a non-Jew, the women will marry a non-Jew, I will continue being Jewish. But now that we don't have ketuvah, that we don't have anything of that, it's impossible to know who is Jewish or is not.
Wow, that's crazy.
Wow, that's really interesting. It's so confusing, but it's so awesome how you're going to make sense of all of it.
Yeah. So the grandmother of my father practiced a little bit of things. She lighted the Shabbos candles, and when she was lighting the Shabbos candles, she covered her hair. So now, when my father was raising me up, he told me that I should light the Shabbos candles and cover my hair.
Oh my gosh.
So he didn't know why.
That's hilarious.
His grandmother cover her hair.
Wow. I feel like that's so pure and innocent though. That's I love that.
Yeah.
So she also didn't mix milk and meat. but literally mixing them up because the pots were great. And then my father got married with my mom. My mom also come from the Nusim, but my mom didn't grow up all her life with her parents. So she grew up with her aunts and uncles, and they raised her up like Christian. Even that way, she was not that religious. Like, she was just there. Like, in Christianism, it doesn't mean that you practice. Maybe someone who just know about their religion and that's it. So I grew up that way, and then when I was 3 years old, my father has his story. So somehow he got a contact to go to a synagogue. And the synagogue wasn't Orthodox, was conservative. So I grew up like a conservative Jew. And for me, I still remember the first day I went to the shul. And I was so excited. I remember the lights, the chairs, I remember everything about it, and I remember I was so excited and so happy to be there. And I was asking them, "Are you Jewish?" And it was so funny because I couldn't pronounce well the word. So in Spanish, it sounded a little bit weird, and people started to laugh. Yes, I'm Jewish. So it was so beautiful because I found the people that it was a little bit more similar to me. And
Wow.
so I always had that connection with Judaism.
Wow, that's amazing. It's crazy that like in the, like South America, which is like third world country, right? Like
Yeah.
we're
Well,
Honduras.
technically for me it's Central America, but I don't know if for you it's South America.
Oh, is it
Because
Central?
I heard.
Oh, right. Honduras
Yeah.
is Central America. You're
Okay,
right.
so do you have Central America?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's Central America.
Okay. Because sometimes it changed in between the countries how they
Right.
call the.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's amazing. That's crazy that like you also remember, like it's funny that you went to the show as like a little kid who doesn't really understand anything, but like you felt that like you were Jewish. Like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, I'm Jewish.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting the vibe. It was like a little bit of a Pintelean moment. Like you were this little girl and like you had a few things, the Shabbos candles and this from your dad, but you didn't really have like a full picture of Judaism. But the first time you went to that show and you just remember it being so special, like your neshama just woke up. You're like, oh my gosh, I'm here. This is where I belong.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's also like, and it's funny because you were not Jewish then, right?
Yeah, I was not Jewish.
Like you were practicing.
Yeah, but my father always told me that I'm Jewish, so I always thought I was Jewish.
Yes, but halachically you were
Or
not.
halachically wasn't.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so you grew up, did you go to regular school and stuff?
Yeah,
Like
I
how?
went to regular school. It was a Catholic school, so every week
Wow.
they were
What?
sending me to the church, and I was like, "Why am I here?" Like, and every time they told me to kneel,
Bow.
to bow, I would say no, I'll not bow.
Wow.
Wow, that's like an olden day crazy
I
story.
told them that
Yeah.
title
Like-
trip. I will not bow. This is an idol. This is not God.
Wow. Oh my God, I have the chills.
So for them at the beginning was a little bit shock because for them, he is God. And okay, everyone has their process to understand a little bit of God because we cannot really understand who is Hashem. So everyone is in their process of revelation, of revealing a little bit of his essence, a little bit of this, a little bit.
Wow, you're so special. I can't. Like
Hi, I love that.
I feel like we're both stepping nachos right
Yeah.
now.
Literally. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. I feel like that even plays a bit on the B'tachon. Like, when you have that B'tachon, it helps you to reveal a bigger picture of God in your life.
Yeah.
Okay, so why don't you tell us a little bit about what started, like, okay, so you said that you grew up in a bit of like you understood Judaism a little bit. How did you actually decide at such an early age to be like, hey, I want to actually be a Jew. Like, I actually want to be a part of this.
Because at that moment, it was not like I want to be part of this. I felt part of it. So I couldn't say I want to be part of it. It was for me, Judaism was my life, you know. And also I remember my family, that wasn't my parents, my uncles, my aunts. Um, they were so angry. I don't know. They were always fighting with me, telling me that I should believe in this person. And I remember myself fighting with them. It was like 5 years old, 6 years old. So I was fighting with them, telling Hashem cannot be a human. Hashem cannot be an idol. I told him Hashem is one. Hashem cannot be two. Hashem cannot be three, because for Christianism, Hashem is like three.
Right, polygamy, is that what it is?
Yeah, I think so. Something like that.
Yeah. So
Well, you sound like Avram. You know, like the story of
I was literally going to say, you know that young Avram video where he smashes all the idols? He's like, this is not God. Like, you're literally giving that.
Yeah. Well, but so it was funny because it was a kid speaking with an adult explaining that Hashem is one. And
They're like, you're just a kid, you don't understand anything, but really you're
Yeah.
like, you know
Yeah.
the real thing.
yeah, and also I think that my father also taught me a lot, and he helped me to get a stronger relationship with Judaism. So I'm very thankful of that. I always thank my father that he brought me to the shul, and that he taught me, he gave me the first steps to get into it. And Baruch Hashem. So then the time passed and I turned 10 years old. So that was a very important stage of my life, because they gave me a phone. So what do you think that happened? What happened?
Oh my gosh. I don't want to know what happened next.
So I started to search by myself.
Oh,
What I need to do for this, what I need to do for that. And I thought what was like, oh, Chaya, you're, well, oh, I haven't said that. My name wasn't Chaya Bracha.
Oh.
My legal name is Natalie Michelle.
Oh my gosh. I actually love both of those names.
They're gorgeous.
Thank you. So my father, what was I?
Oh, you were searching. You started searching.
Yes. So I was searching, and yeah, my father was like, Natalie, you are becoming Orthodox. And for him, that was, oh no.
That was like the worst thing.
Yeah, the worst thing of the world. Because he thought that Orthodox people was crazy, like from where they get all these halachas, why do they dress that way? Because he didn't know all of that. Like for them, it was very weird.
So just from that, like being a little girl and searching on your phone, and then the whole talk of Orthodox and with your dad opposing, but you were into it, like, I think if you would be able to tell us a little bit, like what led to your choice of actually full on converting, and like what were all the steps in the process and all the stepping stones that led to this choice, because it's a huge choice.
Especially for a girl your age, like a little kid who's
Yeah.
like, I want to convert. Like, do you even know what convert means at that age? Like,
Yeah, I mean, I was in the show, I was hearing people talking about conversion when I was a child. So I couldn't really understand like why they needed to convert. Like if you're already doing halachas, what do you need? Why do you need to convert? I didn't understand like what was conversion. But then, when I was 10 years old and I started searching, I started to learn that Judaism just goes through the mother, and I realized I wasn't Jewish. So
wow, that's like it's like, bam, like
Yeah.
you're not Jewish.
yeah, it was hard, because then I couldn't say I'm Jewish. I needed to say I'm person in process of conversion. But technically, a Jew is, even if it's a convert, is always an Hashem of a Jew. So it's not that you became a Jew. You are just revealing what is your essence. So yeah, I realized I wasn't Jewish, and I started to pray to Hashem that He will let me serve Him, because that was my highest desire, to serve Hashem in the best way.
I'm gonna cry. That's crazy. Like, you know what? I always hear those stories of like sometimes I'll hear podcasts of like people who converted and they're like adults and they converted when they were adults. And they are saying what you're saying. But to hear it from like a teenager, and it's like you were even younger than how old you are now, like that's crazy. Like
It's literally crazy. It's mind blowing. It's like for me, I just think I'm a little teen, whatever. I'm going to school, going through my days. Like, I don't think I'm capable of anything, but like, you're literally living proof here showing us that like, whatever you set your mind to, you could do. And it's so special that you had that like, that you felt that like intrinsic connection at such a young age. Like, you're literally praying to God. And how old were you? 10, 11?
Yeah.
That's like beautiful.
Yeah, I think that time when I realized I wasn't Jewish, I strengthened my relationship with Hashem. Because when you have a type of separation with someone, is the moment that you desire more to be with.
oh my gosh, I love that. That's so true.
That's crazy. It's like, you know, the saying, like, how does it go? Like, you don't know what you have till it's gone.
Yeah.
Like, when something's gone, you're like, I need this. This is special.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I really wanted that relation. And even if it was a little bit hard because my parents were different, I didn't care about it. Like, I just wanted to be with Hashem. And I know there are many ways to serve Hashem. Not someone that is not Jewish doesn't need to be Jewish. So there are different types of serving Hashem. But I couldn't have other way than that. For me, I couldn't do other thing than being Jewish. For me, that was my essence, that was my life, that was my love. That for me, that was everything. And I remember myself crying to Hashem. Why? Like, I really want to be Jewish. So I was crying to him. Why I wasn't born Jewish? And I really wanted to be with him.
We're going to take a pause from this episode, and before we get back into the incredible story of Chaya, we have a solution to your party problems, and we had to share no gatekeeping.
You know when the doorbell rings and you open the door and then that one person walks in with the platter? Well, that can be you. And that's where premium platters come in. Mussy has a wide variety of fruit platters with fruits cut up in designs that you would never think fruits could be cut into. Cantaloupes as bowls, kiwis as stars, strawberries as flowers, and so much more.
These platters will shock your event and fill everyone's cravings and upgrade your table to premium. Summer's here and juicy fruits are just what we all need.
So don't hesitate, place your order with premium platters today and mention the Power Hour podcast to get 10% off your first order.
So go reach out today at 718-207-4542. More info in the show notes below. Now let's get back into Chaya's story.
Okay, so I remember myself praying to Hashem about the conversion that I really wanted to get a base in, and I knew it would be hard. First of all, because I was too young.
Wait, how old were you?
That moment probably was 11 years old. Yeah.
Wow, you're not even bar mitzvah yet.
Yeah.
You're a
so
kid.
it was impossible for me to get a conversion that
Oh,
age.
wow, I didn't think of that. So you used to wait
Yeah.
till you're okay, we're jumping ahead, but
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
So then the next year, Baruch Hashem, I met a rabbi that was from Dominican Republic, and he came to us, and he brought us like a test, like questions. It was for us to study, not to really test us. So when I was reading those questions, I was like, I don't know most of the answers. What's nida? What is this? And also, I didn't know the brachas for the food at that moment, because I was searching about Chagim. I didn't know that we have brachas for food, so I was like, bracha for water. What's this? So it was so funny. And then he told us that he will be our teacher, and I studied with him 1 year. He helped me a lot. And even if it was just 1 hour a day, for me was a lot compared to what I was doing. That was like what I was trying to understand. It was like a mess. So now I had more structure in my life. That I think is something that I needed to have. And so he helped me. I needed to wake up 5:30 a.m. to be able to daven and learn davening. He told us that the best way of learning davening is davening, and that he will guide us about the prayers, and also he told me memorize this bracha, memorize this, memorize that. So then in the class he will ask me, tell me Hadu by memory. Tell me.
That's crazy. Even
Yeah.
I can't do that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I do my memory. I don't even like say it every day.
Well, after this, you will.
So then okay, so I woke up at 5:30. To be honest, sometimes it was hard for me to wake up that time. I'll
I
wake up
can
that
imagine.
time. I'll wake up that time, but it was hard for me to daven with Kevin all the time because it was very early for me. I was 12 years old, and I learned how to daven, how to do amidah, how like with parts of the prayers was more important in case something happens or things like that. And then a year later, I think that time was pandemic. Then when was pandemic?
The pandemic.
The pandemic, yeah.
COVID was when we were in 5th grade, so we were 11. 11.
Okay. So the next year, it was like it was 1 year, the pandemic, right?
Right.
So the next year, I started to go to school, and I forgot to say that I like to study Kabbalah when I was that age. So the next year, when the COVID finished, I went to the shul and I asked the more of the community that wasn't the rabbi. I told him, could you please teach me Kabbalah? And he said, no, the kids don't study Kabbalah. You start studying Kabbalah when you're 40. Nowadays, this changed because of the rabbis. But the more said that we cannot learn Kabbalah until we are 40 years old. Okay, so when the Moreh told me that I couldn't study Kabbalah anymore, I was like, okay, so all the knowledge I had is nothing, and why did I learn that? So I was with a desire to learn more, that I imagine will be more like Hasidus, but for that time I just had Kabbalah, I didn't know about Chabad. So it was hard for me, and I needed to leave it, and for 1 year I didn't study Kabbalah, and Baruch Hashem, it was the time that I used to learn more halachas. That was the best thing for me in that time, but I also missed a lot. What did you learn in Kabbalah? Well, I learned about the Sephiros, about the Melachim, about the alot, and sorry I say Sephardi accent, but sometimes I was surrounded with a lot of Sephardim. So.
Oh, there's no need to apologize.
Yeah, it's okay. Chaya, I'm like listening to you having like these years of learning first Kabbalah and then halacha, and I'm just wondering like how did your father and your mother, how did your family react to this? Like you were just diving in with it.
Well, my father was proud of me that I was getting closer to Judaism. For my mom, sometimes I had some. It's not fights. It's like discussion. A discussion with her.
Arguments.
Argument.
Yeah, like
Debates.
disagreements.
Yeah, disagreements. And it was a little bit hard because my mom was telling me, how do you know this is the truth? How do you know what's wrong, what's right about this? Also that they could change the Torah during the years. And I told her, well, we don't really understand what's truth, but we know the Torah is true. But we don't really understand the Torah, because we can reveal a part of the Torah. We cannot reveal the whole Torah. But that's what I know I need to do. That's my purpose. That's why I'm here. I need to do Torah and mitzvahs. So I'll do it. Nasa v'nishma. So, Baruch Hashem. Also about the food, I told her I cannot eat this, I cannot eat that, I cannot. Was a little some chocks, like. But my father was proud of me, but sometimes for him it was also hard because I was going against my mom, like what she was saying, and also for him sometimes he didn't agree with what I was saying because it was conservative and I was starting to become orthodox. I wasn't orthodox because I was dressing with pants and t-shirts, like, but I was starting to practice more.
Chaya, do you have any siblings, like older or
Yeah.
younger?
Yeah,
Like,
I have.
where are they in the picture?
I have an older brother. He's 19. Um, he he also liked Judaism when he was a child, but when he started to grow up, he said, "This is not for me. This is not what I need." So my father respected him, and I know. Okay, that's fine. What's
Are you
fine.
guys in touch? Like,
Yeah,
do you guys
yeah.
speak?
Yeah. When we were child, we fight a lot. Like, this is mine. This is.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
regular.
Yeah, like everyone.
Yeah. So we didn't want it to be too close because we were usually fighting. So my brother, he's studying. No, now he's working, and I think next year he'll start university. So Baruch Hashem, he took another path, and I feel happy. I feel proud of him because now he's starting to have a schedule. He's starting to be more structured because we were opposites. I was very structured, and he was parties and this and that, and I was like, okay, maybe you need to balance me a little bit more and help me to relax, and I need to give you more structure. I need to learn something from you, and you need to learn something from me. So Baruch Hashem, I think that's something important to learn from the others because sometimes they're a mirror of what we need, and I think that's why we had a lot of discussions when we were little. That was the differences.
Okay, so you said so your brother, you have a brother, yeah?
Yeah, that also that then when I was 14, I moved to Guatemala.
Oh, okay.
And there I started my process of conversion, real
Okay.
process.
Yes, that's what I was gonna ask you that. So till now, okay, so you have a bit of like an idea of what Judaism is, okay? So your brother's not like as interested as you are. So now you're interested. What do you do with that interest? Like, okay, so you learn.
Yeah.
You meet up with a rabbi, but not like practically. Like you want to convert. So tell us what you do. Like what happened.
So Baruch Hashem, there was a community in Honduras who made conversion with a rabbi, and then they told me about this rabbi because I really wanted to do conversion. They told him, they told me, Chaya, I know a rabbi who can prepare you for conversion, and after a year, you'll be able to do a conversion. So I met up this rabbi. His name was Rabbi Joseph Schneider. So he helped me for 1 year. I studied I started to go to a secular school. This was secular school, and I studied 6 hours there. And then after school, I studied another 6 hours with this rabbi. And it was not that he was teaching 6 hours. He had a lot of the recordings. So he was giving me 3 hours, and I was doing 3 hours more.
Wow.
So it was a lot of a study, but I was really in love with it. And I was a little bit nerd, and I like to have good grades. So in that time...
Oh, yeah, that is nerdy. We're joking.
No, me too.
I'm joking.
Me too. Don't worry. Me too.
So it was like, now I cannot get the best grades because I need to study 6 hours of Judaism. And I remember that one time a teacher asked me, how do you do? Like, I can see that you really like to get good grades. It's not hard for you to start having not that good grades, that it was like 80s or 90s, but not hundreds. It's good, but okay, I wanted to get hundreds. So I remember that those months I just got sleep, like, because I was studying and studying and studying, and then I was like, okay, I
You can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. It sounds so draining.
Yeah, it was a little bit hard, but I felt a little, at the same time I felt happy that I was able to get closer to Hashem by mitzvahs.
Okay, so now you're in Guatemala, you're learning, you're studying tons, and like you're 14 now, so this is like nearing the end of like the process, right?
Yeah.
So when did you say like I'm ready to convert? How did the process go? Because I know I heard so many stories of like conversions and like the rabbis also try to convince you not to do it. So did that happen at any point? Like did rabbis
Okay.
tell you not to do it, and like how did they, how'd it go?
Yeah. The rabbi who was preparing me for conversion was not the Av Beis Din. That means that he was not part of the people that will do my conversion. He was not part of the Beis Din, so he will not encourage me to don't convert, because also it was like my rabbi, and he will not encourage me to don't convert, but he told me that I need to be like I need to have enough knowledge to do conversion. And also, when he told me that I should do conversion was when I was insistent that I really want to convert. Like I was texting him that I really want to do conversion even if I'm young. And I remember some of the students told me, or some people that was there in that community online. I don't know how to say it. So some of the people told me you should not convert now. You should wait until you are 18. That, by the way, that's the age that they let you do conversion in general. Because before, teenagers can change their mind. You're in a stage that you're learning what you want. But for me, Judaism was so clear for me that's what I need. That's what Menashama needs. It's not I want, it's I need it. I spoke with the Beis Din. We had some conversations about my age and about conversion, of course, that it's not like, do you really want to convert? I started to have conversations with them. And Baruch Hashem, at the end, they said, okay, we will do the conversion. So, 4 months.
Literally a moment of like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yay.
4 months before my conversion, I decided to have my own kitchen. That was, oh, I remember my mom crying and crying
oh my gosh.
because I told her, Mom, I need to tell you something. I'm going to have my own kitchen, my kosher kitchen.
Imagine me coming to my mom and saying, Ima, I want a not kosher kitchen. She's gonna be like, what in the world? Like, what is going on with you? Like, so I can imagine like if you were to come to your mother and say I want a kosher kitchen, she'd look at you as if like my mother looked at me as if I asked for a not kosher kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's crazy. Literally, like if I went to my mother, I'll be like, "Mommy, I'm just gonna be cooking all my own meals from now on, my own utensils. Like, thank you."
yeah.
She like her jaw would drop.
Yeah. And also that she felt that I was like getting
Separate from her.
separate from
Yeah,
her.
like distanced.
Yeah, like distance. So she was crying. I remember her crying and crying that I will not eat more from her food. At the end, we decided that we will buy the things, and Baruch Hashem, I got everything. And the only problem was that I didn't have any place to do tevilah. So, girls, do you know what happens when you don't have a place to do tevilah?
What do you do?
You,
Go to the ocean. Yeah, am I lying?
I didn't have. You could do that, but
Oh.
I didn't have an ocean or a river nearby. So what I did is, or what you need to
Bathtub?
do. What?
Can you put it in the bathtub?
In the back?
Can you put it in the bath?
No. Because that's not water from, or at least not natural water.
Oh, you're right. You're right. You're
Yeah.
right.
So what I did is to give it to a non-Jew. It's from the non-Jew, but I'm using it. So I told my mom, I'm giving you this. That this is for you, but for
I
a
don't
while
get it.
I
One
will use
second.
it. Because you cannot do tevilah. You
Right.
need to give it to a non-Jew because they don't have the mitzvah of doing tevilah. So if it's their pots, their things, their pans, and they're not using it because technically it's not that it's not kosher because they haven't used it. It's new. You can use it.
Without it being titled?
Yeah, because it's not mine.
Really? You learned that?
It's from my
Yeah, we learned that. I feel like we learned that like this past week or something with Mrs. Hach. You have Mrs. Sternberg, right? So we learned it. It's it's like a random halacha, but it's
Yeah.
real.
Yeah. So that's what I did. And Baruch Hashem, I got my kitchen. And then
How did you get kosher food?
kosher food. Baruch Hashem, we have 3 Bet Chabad in Guatemala. I tried to go before to that Bet Chabad of Guatemala City, but they said that I couldn't go because I wasn't Jewish yet. So yeah, I could go to the store, Baruch Hashem. So I bought the food from there, and also that I could eat fruits and vegetables. So
Nice.
wasn't that hard.
Okay, so now that you actually are ready to convert at this point, how did the actual real, like now we're talking like full on, like you're converting today. Like, did you have a date for the conversion?
Yeah, they were.
So how was it?
They gave me a date for the conversion, but they were pushing it. So I was so scared because every time that we were supposed to have the conversion, they will move it to another date. And I remember that I didn't know like how I'm going to do it, and if that I don't know how much it's gonna cost. I don't know anything because the conversion cost has you need to pay for it.
Really?
Yeah, it's tzedakah, but okay.
It
let's
costs
say,
money.
Yeah. Yeah, because they tell you need to give this, but it's not really tzedakah. So Baruch Hashem, the date came. They called me at 6 a.m. They
My
told
gosh.
me today is your
What's with the
conversion.
early wake ups?
Oh my gosh. They told you the morning of?
Yeah. Hello. Today
That is
your
stressful.
conversion.
What?
I was so happy.
Okay, good.
Okay, and I was in my room, and then I went to my father's room, my parents' room, and I knocked the door. I went inside, and I told Papa, today is my conversion.
Oh my gosh.
That's so sweet.
So I told him, I don't care about school. I'm not going to school today. I need to prepare myself for the conversion. I did everything that I needed to, and then I arrived to the place. And okay, so I was so excited, and I remember I was sitting in a room waiting for the basing. When will be my mikvah? And I didn't know, but they were just going to be there one day. So this day the questions was everything. And Baruch Hashem, one of the rabbis, I was friend of one of the daughters of the rabbi of the Beis Din, and they told me, so don't worry about the payment. And they were so nice with me, and I was there sitting for many hours, waiting and waiting and waiting. And Baruch Hashem, I went to the rabbis, and they asked me a few things, and I said that I accept the mitzvahs. Then I went to a place that they had a natural river, and it was so cold. So they told he was the basin, he was the natural mikveh, and the rabbis needed to be there looking to another side while the women's were removing their clothes. So we were going one by one, and the Balanit was saying kosher, and then the other one. And when it was my turn, I was screaming because it was so cold. So Baruch Hashem, I went out, and then I was like,
Did you like feel Jewish? Like, did you like have like a different like?
okay, I'll be honest. I felt the same.
There goes our whole childhood.
No, I feel that. It's like after you blow out the candles on your birthday cake, everyone's like, how do you feel? I'm like, I feel the same. Yeah.
So yeah, and also, it's not that you are becoming Jewish. You're just revealing your essence. So it makes sense. You don't feel like you are receiving a new neshama, because it's like a revelation. Then at night, I chose the name Chaya, and I went to a rabbi. I said, like, I want to ask the Beis Din to give me my second name. So I went outside. I asked the rabbi, could you please give me a name? And he said, Bracha. So in that moment, I was like, because I'll explain why. That day, the women were joking about names. They said, I want every name except Bracha because we are Hasidish,
Oh my
and we say
gosh.
Brucha. And it sounds like witch, means witch.
Bruche.
Yeah, Bruche.
Bruche.
But they were saying like they will think that I'm a witch
Oh,
in the
was
streets.
bruja in Spanish a witch?
Yeah, it's Bruja, but it sounds similar. So I was like, because
You're like, actually, in the other case, maybe I'll pick my own second name.
You're like, wait, no, no.
But then the rabbi said, okay, if you don't like it, you can choose your second name. But I just think about it. And that day, that night, my rabbi that helped me with the preparation of the conversion told me that I'll be a blessing for all Israel. And so I said, okay, maybe blessing and second name.
Wow.
Wow, that's amazing. I mean, you did it. You
Yeah.
converted. Like, wow, the whole process and everything leading up to it, just from what you've told us right now, it's like crazy. It's such a moving story. And I'm just wondering, curious, now that you're converted, what happened after that? Like, what led to you coming to Beis Rivka?
Okay, that's a good question.
Can I actually ask a question before, like adding to your question is, so you're 17 right now.
Yeah,
You converted at 14,
at 15.
15. So what did you do for 2 years? You have 2 years, and then you decided to go to Beis Rivka. So in addition to Bacheva's question,
Okay, so when I did my conversion, I had a promise with this rabbi of Chabad. He told me that if I convert, he will let me to go into his Chabad. So the first thing I did, I forgot to tell you something, but when I was in the process of conversion, Baruch Hashem, I found a community that was mother. I forgot to say that. Sorry.
it's okay.
So there was a community who helped me a little bit to practice. After I did my conversion, I spoke with them. I told them I'm moving to another community, and they were sad, but at the same time happy that I will find a good community that was my type, because at the beginning was fine because I was starting to become Orthodox. But then I was starting like, okay, I cannot eat from your food because it's not my level of kashrut. So Baruch Hashem, I told them I'm moving of community, and I went to his Beth Chabad, and I told him I did my conversion. So there was a rabbi called Rabbi Yehoshua Hershkovitz who helped me with Shabbos, who helped me to find a community. And during that year, I was trying to figure out what can I do to get into a midrasha or to a high school. So it was so hard, so hard. So I really appreciate the time that I was there because it was a lot of growth. And then there was a rabbi called Rabbi Hitrik. He's the brother of Rabbi Hitrik from Tzfat. And he came to volunteer to the Bet Chabad. So I asked him, could you please help me to find a high school? I really want to study. And he said, yeah, sure. So I was so happy, and he started to help me with it. And he asked me by text, do you want to go to Beth Rivka? And I said, of course. Like, I have been trying to find a high school. I have been trying to study. Of course, if you put me this option, I'll say yes.
Oh my God.
So I was so happy because I will be in a school that most of the girls go, that are daughters from shluchim. I said like, oh, I really want to go there. And when they told me it's 700 girls, I was like, wow. But at the same time, I was happy because I'll find at least one girl that will be like me, like to study, like someone a Havrusa. So I was so happy that I will have a lot of options and also to meet more girls to have this feeling of community. I was so happy.
Wow. Okay, so at this point right now, you try to get into Bezirka, you get your visa. Let's fast forward a little bit. So after you get your okay, you can go to Bezirka. What was like I remember you came on a Friday. Do you remember when
Yeah,
you came on
it
Friday?
was Friday morning. I think I arrived like 5 a.m.
And she
that's
came straight to
Sunday
school.
to school.
I remember that. I remember I was like looking at the show benches. I'm like, where is she? Where is she? I want to see. I want to see.
Baruch Hashem, I felt so happy to be here.
Wow. So coming to Car Nights, was it like how did you feel about it?
Yeah, when I was coming here, the driver was asking me questions about like my surroundings and everything. So I wanted to see that the neighbor. I wanted to figure out like I'm here, and I was like, I want to think that I want to process that I'm here. So give me space. But I was answering questions, and and then I came here, and a few days later I had a time to really process that I was here, and that all my fights, all my struggles were that I felt like Hashem's hand in my life.
You're like bringing up a point that I wanted to ask. I'm just like sitting here and listening and I'm absorbing all of this, but I'm like thinking like how in this whole process, a lot of the times you must have felt so alone. Like you started off by saying like your brother took a different path and it was a little bit edgy with your mother, like, and especially the whole conversion process. It's a lot of halachas and nitty gritty. And like, how did you get through it alone? Like, how did you deal with like the loneliness sometimes?
I felt
Great
many times
question.
alone. I felt many times alone, very alone. And what I did was to find help. Because I like Kabbalah, I started to watch videos of someone called Yitzhak Lev, and he's a therapist. And I text him, could you please be my therapist? So I asked him if he could be my therapist. I didn't ask like that, like like I text him. I told him I'm 15, I'm 14, 15 years old. I'm from Guatemala, and I wanted to know if you have available, if you have a space. And he told me that for that time he's busy. He doesn't have space. But when he will have, he will text me. So a few months later, he texted me and he told me that he already has space. And Baruch Hashem, I spoke with him. The first session, I didn't even know what to tell him. Like, I was like, why do you want a therapist? And I was like, I don't know. I just know I need one. I mean, don't
everyone needs one. So
So he started to help me with that process. So I really feel very grateful with him that he helped me, and I still have sessions with him, and I really hope he will be my therapist for a long time.
how would like bringing up loneliness? I feel like so many girls feel lonely. Like real loneliness, like where you actually feel like you have nobody.
Yeah.
And you had that in a very extreme situation. So I'm wondering, what would you tell someone our age or older, like whatever, like what would you tell someone who like really feels lonely? Like how do you deal with that? Like yes, you could talk to a therapist, but what if like
Yeah,
that-
when I didn't have that therapist, let's say.
yeah, like what did you do?
Yeah,
like
and
you
also
were
that
really lonely.
I don't have my therapist 24 hours.
Right, and not only that, you don't even have your parents that you could
Yeah.
just go and speak to you about these stuff.
Yeah.
Like you,
And also that sometimes they didn't understand like what's
right,
going
that's
on.
what I'm saying. You were really lonely. So what What would you say to someone who's really experiencing loneliness? Like, what's something that they can do to help them with their loneliness?
Okay. So those times that I felt alone, first at all, know what's the source. Why do I feel alone? Um, and try to talk with your Yetzer Hara. Like, why do you feel alone? Like, try to talk with yourself. And also, I think loneliness is very related with your autoesteem. So you should work in that either.
Work with what?
Autoesteem. That's how you said it?
Your self-esteem?
Self-esteem. Sorry, in Spanish is...
No, it's okay.
Yeah. So you should work in your self-esteem and in your relationship with Hashem. Because at the end, the only person that you really have in this world is you. And the only, I don't know how to say, but you only have Hashem and you.
All right. The only other person, like, even if you feel like the loneliest person in the whole entire world, like, you have Hashem with you.
Yeah. And also you. That's also important to know that you have
like, you have yourself. Oh my gosh, I love that. I love that.
Yeah, I feel like that's very comforting. Like, you're never actually alone. You need to be able to believe that. You need to be telling yourself that. But, like, in truth, in reality, you're never actually alone.
Yeah. And that's what she was also saying, self-esteem. Like, if you build up your self-esteem, then you know you have yourself, and people will realize, like, hey, she's not alone, because she has a very good self-esteem, and she's confident, and she feels so good with herself, in order to feel so good with yourself, you need to have Hashem in your life.
Yeah.
Like, when Hashem is part of you, then you're not alone.
Yeah.
Which ties also, and with self-esteem.
It ties with Hashem and also with you. And also, even if you have a relationship with Hashem, if you don't do something about it, Hashem is not going to do it. So you need to understand that also you need to work. It's not that I'm going to stay waiting for Hashem to do something, because this is a world of action.
Right. And also, like, because we were born Jewish.
Yeah.
We were born Jewish, so we have that fundamental of, like, yeah, we're always going to have a good relationship with Hashem, right? Because it's like, you know, Hashem's, like, completely part of us. But with you, it's like, I need to choose it. Like, I chose it. So I know what it means to choose it and not have it right away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like just listening to your whole story, there's so many things that growing up Jewish and in Chabad, Lubavitch, us, I feel like there's so many things, even the little stuff throughout my day-to-day, but also the big stuff in life that, like, the way I was raised and, like, ideas I grew up with and things I know and things I do. I feel like so much of it, I just think it's normal and I take it for granted. But, like, now I'm looking back on, like, my life and, like, how you had to strive and struggle and choose everything. Like, I feel so grateful. I'm not going to take these things for granted anymore, because not everyone has them. Like, we're so lucky that we grow up like this, and, like, you had to choose it, and it's crazy
and I
to
think
me. Like,
everyone can choose.
Yes, of course. Like, it's crazy to me that's not a given. Like, you need to choose. But, like, everyone has the ability to choose, and that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, even if we were born with it, we still can choose it.
Yeah.
Even though you're always going to be
yeah,
Jewish, but
yeah.
you still have that to make it really personal to you.
That I don't do it because my parents do it. I do it because I want to do it. So I think that's something people who was born religious needs to work on, because sometimes they just do it, they just daven, like if it's something normal. But it's a day
you
of
should see
relation
Chaya
with Hashem.
davening. Chaya's like a legend davening. You see it in your face, like the amount of, like, kavana you have. Like, you're so focused on, like, in every word. And, like, sometimes, like, I'll, like, look around the shul and, like, I'll spot you and, like, I'll just see you smiling while you're davening. And I'm like, I want to be so happy to daven.
I love that for you, Chaya. That's so beautiful. I feel like davening, especially in our busy, chaotic day-to-day life, also, like, we live in the mundane, okay? We're not tzaddikim. I feel like davening is the one part of our day that we get to just sit and, like, however quiet it gets in the shul, but we get to just sit and, like, absorb ourselves with Hashem, and, like, that's so special that you could really do that for yourself.
Yeah, I didn't know people know that.
Oh, we notice everything. Okay, so to kind of, like, wrap up our episode, what is, like, a message that you would tell anyone. It could be girls our age. Like, what is like your message? Because I could take so many things from your story, but like, what's something that you could tell everyone that like can help people with whatever it is, with their relationship with God, with their day to day, like how they choose things, like you say, like whatever you think is like the most powerful thing that you took from your story, like what would you share with everybody else?
So in life, we have a lot of purposes, and sometimes we'll be scared of doing it. But you need to be strong and try your best on doing it. If you need to teach Torah, teach Torah. If you need to reveal Hashem through art, do it. So, B'ezrat Hashem, everyone will be able to fulfill their purpose in their life, and I give you a lot of blessings, and that you will be able to teach Shar HaBitachon and inspire a lot of lives.
Wow. Thank you, Chaya. Now I feel like I'm getting emotional.
Wait, first of all, amen, beautiful bracha.
Yes. Amen, amen, amen. That's so beautiful. Thank you. I'm like really feeling on a high from your whole story. Like it's literally a story of like the trials and tribulations. Like you had pushback and you had loneliness and you had people that were against you, and at the same time you had people supporting you, like your father and your rabbis and the community. But still, the fact that every step you made the choice to go farther and choose your Yiddishkeit, and like all the halacha. It's like I'm thinking of a halacha class, I zone out for 40 minutes. Like I don't know how you learned a whole lifestyle in just a few years. It's the whole story from beginning to end, and it's not over yet, but I'm really inspired, and I'm really grateful that you're here on Power Hours sharing it with us and the rest of the world, whoever is listening, because I know I took so many things, and I'm sure all the listeners will too.
What I also think is so amazing, like I'm going straight back to this, but like that, like you did this as a 14, and like from when like a little kid, and you like so chose it for yourself, which I think is like the most craziest thing for me, is that you chose it. Like sometimes I look at like my life and I'm like, this is so annoying. I rather just like, be able to do whatever I want and like be like everyone else, and like, but like you're reminding me that I have to appreciate what I have so much, because you literally changed your entire life. You went through so much just to get to where I am, in like to where I am in like where we are in like Judaism, and like you like literally chose it for yourself. I think you are literally you're my, did I tell you? I feel like I told you this 100 times that you're my role model. I told you that, right? Like,
Yeah.
Did I tell you that? I think I did. Like every time I say it, I'm like, hi, remember, you're my role model. You're my role model. You're so amazing. You're like, I, I have no words, but we're so honored that you're here, that you did the podcast with us. Like you took your time, you sat with us. I'm sure so many people are listening and are like, oh my gosh, and are so inspired by your story. And yeah, any other things we want to say?
I'm just like reeling from this. It was all just so amazing, and you, Chaya, you're literally an inspiration. Like I don't know if I said this yet. I feel like I said this, but you're a living example that we can choose anything. The sky is the limit. Like whatever we want, whatever we feel a connection to, if we push ourselves, we can do it, no matter the struggles, like you show. And I'm thinking back to the part where you said you were like a little girl, you were 3 or something, I don't remember, but you said you came into shul and you weren't like, you didn't feel I want to be part of this. You felt I am part of this. Like we all have our neshama inside. We all know like what's right, and we have that like deepest part of ourselves that's just always connected. And what you said about purpose, like it's really making me think like all of it combined, like we can do whatever we need to do to fulfill our purpose. And like even if we're telling ourselves this wishy-washy, I can't do it, I don't know what it is, the world's so big, how do I choose, we don't want to be part of this. We are part of this, and like we feel it inside if we just listen to ourselves. And I feel like that's just one of the really powerful lessons you gave us, so thank you.
Thank you for receiving me here. I am the one who feels honored. So, thank you so much.
All right, everybody. Thank you, Chaya. We really appreciate you coming again. And we I give you all the brachas in the world that you should continue in this beautiful path that you're going in. You should just like see the most brachas in your life, and like you should have it the most. Everyone's supporting you, but you should have like you should feel that support. And yeah, and we're so happy to have you in our school. Like,
And I also would like to thank everyone that they're so welcoming. You're so welcoming, and I really feel loved here, and I'm so happy to be here. So thank you so much for being welcoming.
aww,
And that is the end of episode 3 of
Power Hour.